What's going on, guys? It's Pixelated, and I have an assignment for you guys today. And that is to figure out whether paying premium price for gaming headphones really matters on the PS5. The seasons are greetings and the gifts are forgiving, and today we are giving our eardrums a bit of a jolt with one of the most well-received headsets for gaming, and that is the Astro A50 Wireless. But today we're going to be testing them against the PS5's 3D audio tech, known more famously as the Tempest 3D audio engine, the groundbreaking 3D audio software built in and designed into the PS5 by Sony. Sony has silently taken over the gaming audio world by storm, and I say silently because many in the PC and Xbox camp haven't yet had the chance to try it out yet. Then there's the fact that many who want to own a PS5 can't own one due to the chip shortages, although I would argue that a lot more have them now than they did a few months ago due to the fact that stores have been restocking them pretty regularly during the holiday season. Now, the Astro A50 Wireless is a stacked headset with many features, and while it does not specifically claim to take advantage of PS5's 3D audio, the newest version, which is the Gen 4 version with the base station, allows for a firmware update that does include support for the PS5. So if you did get the newest version, which is the Gen 4 version, which is most likely the one you'll find in stores right now, go ahead, plug it into your PC and update that firmware if you plan to use it with your PS5 or with anything, to be honest. But now, while the firmware update does say that it includes support for the PS5, it doesn't really specify whether it's including any sort of implementation of PS5's 3D audio engine with the headset in any meaningful way, or whether it takes advantage of it. So I'm hoping, although it's not mentioned explicitly, that this headset does in some way take advantage of PS5's 3D audio engine. Unfortunately, these are not things I can confirm without the company Astro mentioning it themselves. What I can do is test this headset out and let you know how it performs with the PS5. So let's get to it. Now, before I hit you with the facts on this headset, make sure to pass on by the like button. If you happen to enjoy the video at any point, make sure to gently shake the hand of the subscribe button for more videos, and make sure to hit the ding dong on the noti bell so you don't miss out on future videos. And if you decide at any point in the video that the Astro A50 Wireless is for you, I've left a link in the description that you can go ahead and check out. Now, let's get to the review. As always, we're going to be taking a look at a few categories like audio quality and features, but first let's start off with the comfort. I gotta say, this headset feels really light and comfortable on your head, regardless of how heavy duty it actually looks. Now, I gotta say, this isn't the greatest headband comfort right here. It has a little bit of padding that's wrapped around fabric, and of course, over time, maybe over a year or so, this thing is gonna start getting thinner, and I'm gonna start feeling the headband on my head even more. I already feel it more right now because, I'll be honest, I'm just spoiled by that tension headband comfort that I get from the Arctis 7P, but because of that, this is just not the norm to me anymore. However, this might be normal for many other people who wear headphones. So the ear cups are made of a felt fabric construction with foam cushioning underneath. If you've seen my previous videos, you already know that I love fabric ear cups as opposed to leather ear cups, so this is a win-win in my situation. If you're the type of person who does not prefer the best in comfort and prefers a leather ear cup, which is objectively the worst option to fabric ear cups, these ear cups have a very flexible modular design where you can just remove these so quickly. You can buy the mod kit that has the leather ear cups and pop them on. However, fabric ear cups are still the way to go in my opinion. Now, moving on to the fit, the first thing I want to mention is just how flexible this headset is. As you can see, it's so easy to flex it. I'm not putting any pressure here. You can literally just do this. You could be the weakest person on earth and do this. But this will probably fit on any head just based on that flexibility. You can adjust the height based on these rods right here, and the rods have notches so you can figure out your perfect fit quite easily. As I mentioned earlier, I'm a big fan of the felt or cloth or fabric ear cups, any fabric ear cups with cushioning, because fabric ear cups encourage breathability and minimize the moisture buildup or sweat buildup around your ear when you're gaming, even for long periods. Now, the clamping force on this headset, I would describe it as a mildly strong clamping force. It's not super strong, but it's not weak either. It's perfect to prevent headphone sway, but also at the same time doesn't feel too overbearing. There are headsets with a strong clamping force where it may feel too overbearing, such as the Turtle Beach Stealth 700. And again, with these adjustable rods, there are notches alongside them, so you can find your perfect fit and know exactly where to go every time you want it. Okay, moving on to the audio quality. This is where the rubber meets the road, as they say. Now, the sound quality on these is on the upper end for me for headsets that I've tried with the PS5. However, there are some downsides to it. It has a bit of a hollow feel. Now, I've playtested this headset with older games such as Warzone and Ghost of Tsushima, as well as newer games such as Demon's Souls and Returnal, as well as Spider-Man Miles Morales. Now, when I was using these in Spider-Man Miles Morales, it wasn't wasn't really helpful in figuring out where the enemy is. Of course, in Spider-Man, it's not that big of a deal. It's usually a bigger deal in first-person shooters, but in Spider-Man, for example, you can tell that this headset is trying to give you more of an entertaining experience as opposed to one where the audio is more distinct and directional. The audio is rich in quality, but because of that slightly hollow feel, it almost feels like it has a range limiter built in. And it was the same in other games such as Warzone. In Warzone, I can still tell where the enemy's coming from, and it's quite clear on this headset, but it still has that hollow feel that gives you sort of an unpleasant audio experience. The only solution I found to this was to actually change the audio format to Dolby and have Dolby turned on this headset, because this headset does have Dolby audio built in. Now, unfortunately, that means that most likely that you're not using 3D audio. So I forgot to mention that I had to disable 3D audio and change the audio format to Dolby audio on the PS5 in the sound settings, as well as turn Dolby audio on this headset because it has Dolby audio built in, and that seemed to help the situation a little bit more. Now, while there still was that little bit of a hollow feel, you still get more of a rich audio, an all-encompassing experience. It almost felt like it gave me a bigger sound stage to listen to sounds in. Now, while I was playing games like Returnal, where I had to know where the enemy's coming from, where their bullets are coming from, because there's so many bullets, the sound is all-encompassing in that game. There's so many sound effects going on at one time. This headset didn't give me the best directional audio that I could have got, for example, with the Arctis 7P. While I got some really high-quality, rich sounds in that game and other games like Demon Souls. So if you want the best experience on this headset, definitely disable 3D audio. Now, having to disable 3D audio and having to use Dolby audio with this headset makes me feel like it's not taking advantage of PS5's 3D audio, and I would rather recommend a headset that does take advantage of 3D audio as opposed to one that will give you a good experience with Dolby audio, because if you have a PS5 and you want to experience the Tempest 3D audio engine, it would only make sense to do that. Now, this is not a bad headset by any means of the imagination, but you can tell the difference between Dolby audio and 3D audio and how it benefits you in games like first-person shooters, as well as other games like Returnal, for example. It's a third-person shooter, but you're really also in it for the experience because it's a single-player game. You're not playing competitively against other people. Same with Spider-Man and Ghost of Tsushima. This headset is also not the best at blocking sound. It almost feels like it's an open back headset without being an open back headset. I do think this is a purposeful design to prevent sound buildup, which is actually good for competitive games like first-person shooters and other games that you're competing against other people where the audio cues might be important. However, if you are in a noisy environment, that is something you have to consider. The audio on this headset is all-encompassing. The best way I can describe it is, for example, if you hear a gunshot from your right side, you'll hear the sound sort of blending into the front right and the back right a little bit, because this headset tries to give you more of that immersive sound. And that's really what happens when you're using things like 7.1 surround sound or Dolby audio as opposed to PS5's Tempest 3D audio engine. With that being said though, the overall audio quality of this headset is really good. When playing games like Returnal and Demon Souls, I noticed the sounds were a lot richer. Quality was great overall. And as we know, any audio quality test is not complete without a mic test, so let's get on to the mic test.
Alright, so this is the mic test for the Astro A50 Wireless headset with the base station Gen 4 on the PS5. Now the mic on this headset is crystal clear. When I speak with my friends, they can hear me quite clearly. You will not have any issues communicating with your teammates or your friends or whoever you're playing with. The mic right now is at 50% volume, so you can increase or decrease it based on whatever your preference is. There is a slight muffle to your voice, but overall this mic does a better job than any other headset I've reviewed. For example, the Pulse 3D headset that makes you sound like you're hollowed out or you're talking through a can or as if someone has their hand on your mouth, or like the Arctis 7P that makes you sound like an airline pilot where the highs are more pronounced, your P's and Q's are more pronounced. Overall, I'm very satisfied with the mic quality. Astro's headsets are known for having extremely high noise gates, which is good for covering up background noise, but sometimes if your voice gets too quiet, it gets cut off as well. Right now, it's not too bad. Here I'm speaking a little quieter to show you exactly what I mean. Normally it cuts off, but even now it's not cutting off, so that's pretty good. Fortunately, there's a lot of customizability here. If you set your headset onto your base station and connect it to your PC, and you download the Astro Command Center app, you can adjust the noise gate to your preference. However, I think this is not too bad. I mean, I can do a quick noise test and show you exactly how effective it is right now. That's me typing on the keyboard. Clicking the mouse. As you can tell, it does a pretty good job at cancelling out noise. Overall, great mic quality, your voice comes out clear enough where you won't have trouble communicating with your teammates or your friends or whoever you're playing with. Not the greatest in the world, but there's not much to complain about here at all.
That was the mic test. Let's move on to the features. Okay, so moving on to the features, the first thing I want to bring up is this base station right here. Now, this base station has a few nifty indicators on the front when it is on that allow you to see certain things about the headset, like the battery charge, how much battery is charged, what EQ presets are being used, and if Dolby Audio is on or off. And this is a great alternative to the fact that PS5 doesn't really allow system integration with any headset that is not the Pulse 3D headset, which is exclusively made by PlayStation. I don't know whether they're going to allow this type of integration with third-party headsets at any point or in the future. I don't really want to make a bet on it. I don't see them doing that for the foreseeable future, and that is a great alternative because there are plenty of good headsets out there that don't allow that type of system integration. For example, I use the Arctis 7P, and that doesn't have any sort of system integration with the PS5. It doesn't have any indicators on any sort of base station, so a headset with a base station is almost necessary with the PS5. And I say almost because obviously you don't need it, but it is a good to have to know certain things about your headset. The base station charging is also very seamless. You just need to rest your headset in the right orientation on this base station to keep it charging. It also doubles as sort of a display, and it's easy to stow your headset away. You can just pick it up whenever you want to use it and put it back down when you're done with it. The next feature we have isn't physical, it's more the software. The Astro Command Center software, it allows for in-depth customization of the audio of the headset, as well as the EQ presets that you can implement. You can have at least 3 EQ presets that can be swapped through via this button right here, and it'll indicate on the base station which EQ you are using on the headset at the moment. You can also customize things like the strength of the noise gate on the mic or the volume of the mic and things like that, so it's really useful software. The next feature we have is the battery life. It is a 15-hour battery life. It is not the longest battery life we've heard of on a wireless headset, but it is relatively good. You can probably get through a week without charging this thing depending how long your gaming sessions are, or if you're someone who has long gaming sessions, you can probably get through 2 days of gaming sessions, maybe 3 days if your gaming sessions aren't ridiculously long. The next feature is the ease of use, just how easy it is to remove these ear cups and swap them out for leather ear cups or newer ear cups if they happen to wear out over time. I doubt they'll wear out for a while. I've never had headsets where I've needed to swap ear cups because that might just be because I've swapped out of headphones. The next feature we have is the mic mute feature. The way this headset actually mutes the mic is not with a button. It's just if you have it like this, it works, and if you turn the mic up into the headset, it mutes. This is kind of unique, and some people might find it kind of cool. Some people might prefer it, but to be honest, I would rather have a button than have to go from here to here every time I need to mute the mic. And this has been pretty standard on Astro headsets from the beginning, so this isn't something new or unique to this headset. Now here's where the features do become a little dicey, because this headset does have a game chat mixer on the ear cup right here. If you press the button here, or if you click on it over here, it balances out the game chat mixer. Unfortunately, this feature does not work on the PS5. So this is where I kind of have an issue recommending headsets like this, because part of the price you're paying is to get that feature, and because it's not available, it sort of feels like you're paying for something that you can't use, and that is not something I want to recommend to someone else. However, if you prefer the audio quality of the Astro A50 or any other Astro headset, this will most likely be something you're leaning towards, even with the lack of the game chat mixer feature. The Arctis 7P purposely included a side tone scroll wheel instead of a game chat mixer scroll wheel for that very reason, because they knew they wouldn't be able to implement that feature into the PS5, into a headset that's for the PS5. With this headset, you can see that it was sort of an afterthought. They decided to include support for the PS5 after the headset came out, and they didn't really release a PS5 specific headset. And then finally, we just have the buttons on here. We have the volume scroll wheel, we have the EQ switching button, we have a button that turns Dolby Audio on and off, and then we have the power on and off switch. There's no 3.5mm audio jack. If you were hoping that you could use these in a wired way when the battery dies out, there's no chance of that, so keep it charged. Now the last feature I want to talk about isn't really a feature, it's more like a lack thereof. It's this Astro HDMI audio splitter. Now, if you want to use the Astro A50 Wireless with the PS5, you need to get an HDMI audio splitter just like this one. You can get this exact one, or you can find a different one, an off-brand one from anywhere else. And the reason why I say this is a lack thereof when it comes to features is because this is an HDMI 2.0 splitter. The PS5 is capable of 4K 120Hz with an HDMI 2.1 connection, or an HDMI 2.1 display rather, and if you use this splitter, which you have to with the Astro A50, you lose out on that 4K 120Hz. Of course, with HDMI 2.0 you can still get 4K 60Hz, but if you plan on getting an HDMI 2.1 display to take full advantage of your PS5, then you're basically kind of like forcing yourself out of using that feature by buying this headset and having to use this splitter. Now, of course, I can't predict the future. Maybe they'll come out with an HDMI 2.1 splitter at some point, but for now, you don't get that feature. Okay, that's it for features. Let's move on to the price. Now, moving on to the price of the Astro A50 Wireless is 399 Canadian dollars before tax, which is a little on the steep side considering for $50 more you can get the Arctis Pro Wireless, which has swappable batteries, more EQ customizability in its base station, and a lot of other options on its base station. On top of that, you need the HDMI splitter like this Astro HDMI splitter, which cost me 60 Canadian dollars, which basically means you are paying 460 Canadian dollars for this headset to be able to use it with the PS5, which is $10 more than the Arctis Pro Wireless. You get less features and a higher price tag. But to be fair, this is a high quality headset. The audio quality is great with decent customizability, not to the level of the Arctis Pro Wireless, but in certain ways it is better, like you have more control over the noise gate of the mic and mic volume and other settings related to the mic, which you don't get on the Arctis Pro Wireless. Still, I do think the Arctis Pro Wireless overall has more features and more features that I would use, but you can't discount the audio quality and the performance of this headset. Okay, moving on to the design. The design of this headset basically screams business over fun, and I don't mean business in the way of doing business, but more in the sense that it's an all-black muted look done purposefully to indicate that it is focusing more on performance and audio performance versus looks. Another cool design feature are the felt pads right here and the felt pad right here with memory foam and cushioning. Now normally these are fabric or leather ear cups in other headphones, but here they're felt, and it sort of gives this premium finish and premium touch to this already premium feeling headset, and that's probably something that adds on to that 399 Canadian dollar price tag. In fact, a lot of this headset feels more premium than other headsets in terms of build quality. You have these metal rods for adjustment, as well as just how durable and flexible this headset is. You don't really see that on cheaper headsets. Another thing I love about the design of this headset is the base station itself. It's very angular, it feels very aggressive, but also very subtle and aesthetic at the same time. I will say the one thing I don't really like about the design is this sliding out ear cup. It just feels very old school to me, like you're at a call center or something. That's probably why the software is called Command Center software. It might as well be called Call Center software. I'm just kidding, Astro. Again, some people probably prefer this design, but I just don't like that sliding out. Another thing I like about this design is the modular ear cup design. I love the fact that you can just pop it out like that and replace it if you need to, or get leather ear cups. This doesn't really mean much for visual customizability. This headset is going to look the same. The only thing you can really swap out is this top part right here, which is not going to make much of a difference. And the last thing about the design really is that once you connect this thing to your PS5, it's going to have a cornucopia of cables coming out from behind it because you're going to be using this HDMI audio splitter. Again, this color doesn't really match the PS5 all the way because the PS5 is white and black, predominantly white, or whatever that shade of gray that they're using on the PS5. But with the new PS5 plates on pre-order, you can get those black ones, or if you're one of the lucky few who bought PS5 dark plates, the black ones before PS5 hit debrand with the lawsuit, then you can go ahead and get these to match your PS5 if that's something you care about. Okay, so moving on to the pros and cons, starting with the pros. The first pro is the comfort. This headset is really lightweight, it's really comfortable. The felt ear cups feel really great on your head. The felt cushioning on the headband does feel good. I do feel like it could be a little bit better, but it's not too bad. The next pro is it's easy to find the right fit with this headset. The ear cups are already sufficiently comfortable, they're sufficiently sizable as well. They go over most ears, and even if they don't completely go over your ear, if you have giant ears, they're made of really soft, comfortable material, and it won't be too much of a bother for you. So the next pro is it's easy to find the right fit with this thing because it has these metal rods that are adjustable and they have notches on them, so you can tell exactly where the best fit is for you, along with the flexibility of this headset allowing you to fit on most heads comfortably, and these soft felt ear cups that feel great on your ears. They're big enough to go over most ears, but if you still have giant ears and they don't completely go over them, it won't feel too uncomfortable with the felt ear cups pushing against a little bit of your ear. Next pro is the audio quality is great and the positional audio is good. It's not the best I've ever heard, but it's still good. You get a rich sound when playing with this headset on. It's a bit hollow, so I would recommend turning 3D audio off, and once you do that and enable Dolby audio on the headset as well as through the audio format through the sound settings on the PS5, this headset does a great job at providing a rich, great sound experience. Now the next pro is the base station. It is a great design. It's easy to stow away your headset when you need it to charge or just when you're not playing, and it provides some helpful indicators on here for charging as well as EQ and whether Dolby audio is on or off. The next pro is just the feature set that's available to you immediately. You can swap EQs on the fly with the EQ button, or you can turn Dolby audio on and off. And the final pro is the mic quality and the default noise gate. The actual mic quality on this thing is really good, and the fact that it blocks out quite a bit of noise with the default noise gate settings is an ultimate pro, because there are a lot of headsets that pick up a lot of noise, a lot of gaming headsets specifically. Okay, moving on to the cons now. Again, with the mic, although the mic quality was great, I don't like the mic design here. I don't like the fact that I have to turn it from here to mute the mic. I would honestly prefer a button as opposed to this. Another con is just the overall aesthetic direction they took with this headset. Again, I mean, it is subjective. Feels like a more industrial design to me as opposed to something that would be more striking or interesting to look at. And it may work for some, but it just mostly seems uninspired to me, and it's not something that I would prefer on a headset. The next con is probably the biggest con to me, in my opinion, because I do have an HDMI 2.1 display, and it is the fact that you have to use this HDMI audio splitter to use this headset, which limits your PS5 to a 4K 60 Hz output onto your display, which would mean that crazy amount of money I spent on an HDMI 2.1 display would go to waste if I use this headset with my PS5. And for the fact that this is probably the most expensive headset I have reviewed for the PS5, that is not a good look. You're basically locked out of using a premium feature by getting the most premium expensive headset that I have reviewed on this channel for the PS5. You see how that's a big blow to this headset, right, Astro? Come on. Give us an HDMI 2.1 splitter. Now the final con is of course the price, with the 399 Canadian dollar price tag along with the HDMI audio splitter, which adds $60 to a grand total of 460 Canadian dollars. It has become the most expensive headset that I've reviewed for the PS5. With the fact that you lose potential HDMI 2.1 features, you can see why it makes it tough to recommend this headset, even with the decent and good audio quality that comes out of it. That's my review. Let me know, you Astro boys and Astro girls in this Astro world. Is probably not the best reference to have right now, but let me know if you're considering this headset for the PS5, if you already own it, you plan on getting it, or if there are any other headsets you think are good for the PS5. Let me know in the comments. I'll catch you in the next one. Your boy Pixelated is going into the Astros.